And Michael, are you with us? Good morning.
Yeah, morning, Kai.
Good afternoon. You're still in Hong Kong, aren't you?
I'm still in Hong Kong until Monday, and then I'm flying to New York Monday.
Oh, I'm sure you're bringing a zillion boxes. So are you going back?
Well, the plan is to come back. Yeah, we'll see. I'm in North America till early June. Well, hopefully things are better here by then. But
good luck. All right, I don't want to steal any more of your time. Please dive right in, and looking forward to an update from Reyna.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Kai. No, thanks. Great to be here. So again, let me just share my screen. Hopefully everybody can see this okay. So yeah, Reyna is a relatively new company. We just started trading in January on the TSX-V. Just started trading in the US on the OTC 3 weeks ago. And we're focused on gold exploration in northwestern Mexico. We've put together 4 properties consisting of 57,000 hectares, really on the thesis that the gold trends from the west coast of America, from Nevada, from California, from Arizona, extend down into northwest Mexico and have had a fraction of the tension across the border in the US. So very happy with the land packages we've got. We've put together what we think is a world-class exploration team led by Dr. Peter McGaw, Chief Technical Advisor. We've also got Doug Kerwin as a Senior Advisor. And then we've had a lot of young local Mexican geologists all cut their teeth at the majors, a good, young, hungry bunch looking to make a major discovery under the guidance of Peter and Doug. So very happy with the way things are working on the ground. Yeah, getting some good results. Just put out sample results this morning, Kai. The drilling is coming very soon. Hopefully next week we get out our first drill results. But yeah, just put out some more sample results as a new target area we're drilling in now. But yeah, very keen to be getting out drill results next week, and then we should have a steady flow of drill results coming out of the summer. We're doing an initial 10,000 meter program. We've done about 2,000 meters to date. So very happy with the team. And then we're fortunate to raise $13.6 million. So well capitalized. We've got about $10 million in the bank today. We raised $3.1 million privately. And then we raised $10.5 million in our go public financing. And actually, we've got a number of shareholders from Germany. I'll go through shortly on the register. So this is just a little bit more about why we're focused on this part of the world. Sonora is now the biggest gold producing state in Mexico, with Chihuahua third. So the 2 northwestern states really making up the bulk now of gold production from Mexico. And not just gold, also copper is a very similar graph, and other metals as well. So very, very excited about the properties. We feel, there's a lot of potential. Really, prior to the signing of NAFTA in 1994, very limited capital and foreign expertise was going in. Actually, Dr. Peter McGaw was one of the few foreign exploration journalists working in Mexico prior to NAFTA. But since the signing of NAFTA, we have had an influx of companies and discoveries into this part of the world. The likes of Newmont, Pan American Silver, Agricole Eagle, all very active in this part of the world. And just up on trend from our property is the biggest gold mine in Mexico, La Herradura, owned and operated by Fresnillo. Almost 16 million ounces have now been discovered there, and produces around 500,000 ounces a year. So these are the kind of deposits Peter refers to as elephants. We know there's elephants in the terrain, and where there's one elephant, there's generally more than one. So we feel the prizes are big, and the opportunities are there. So very excited with the location, and really looking forward to advancing things, hopefully fairly quickly. Now we're up and running on the ground. Here's our capital structure. We've got 66 million shares on issue. The go public financing was done at 40 cents. We've come up a little bit. I think there's a bit of a hold waiting to see some initial drilling. And we also, I think, we just had a bit of selling from private paper. The private capital was raised at 12 cents. So I think some people are taking a bit of a profit in the mid-30s. We traded about 6 million shares now at a VWAP of just under 35. So reasonably orderly transfer of shares so far. And now hopefully the plan is to start getting out results, and I think we can re-rate. I think for people that are new to the story, aren't shareholders, it's a reasonable entry point. We're trading at a market cap of around 21 million Canadian dollars with $10 million in the bank. So enterprise value of about 10 million Canadian dollars. We have a number of institutional shareholders. Ongoing public, 34% of register was institutional. A number of shareholders from Germany, Commodity Capital, Increment, Ascent Capital, or German shareholders. So yeah, hopefully I'll be in Germany. Unfortunately, I can't come to Kai's live event in May, but hopefully I'll be there later in the year. And yeah, a lot of the shareholders came in, have supported us on Reyna Silver, and also Casio Gold is a company that I'm on the board of, and Marco, who I work with here in Hong Kong, is the CEO of. So just moving on, I think most people are fairly familiar with Peter and Doug. Both, world-class exploration geologists, both won the prestigious Thea Lindsay Award at PDAC. Peter for the discovery of Juanicipio for Mag Silver, and Doug for the discovery of Otogo for Ivanhoe Mines. And really great to have their, their wisdom, their knowledge, and their network as well as part of the company. And then underneath Peter and Doug, we put together a strong Mexican team. All our geologists on the ground are from Mexico, all from the area. They're very familiar with the geology in the area, the deposits in the area, the people in the area, the contractors, etc. So Castello Molina is on the board. Dr. Castello Molina was running core mining in Mexico till 2020. They have a big operating deposit in Sonora. So great to have Castello involved. He's a good friend of Ariel, the VP of Exploration, and Peter. So he's a great addition to the team. And then Ariel Navarro is our VP of Exploration, and Ariel is cut his teeth at the majors, Newmont, Pan American Silver. He's a third-generation geologist from Sonora. His dad, Alberto, actually is quite a famous geologist in Sonora, discovered 5 mines. Alberto actually is now on the staff of Reyna Gold, helping with this initial drilling, so great to also have him involved. And he's put together a really strong, hungry team. Ariel's 42, and he's kind of part of his generation of geologists. And so Hidal Garcia has joined us from Fresnillo, was working up the road at La Herradura, and also worked previously at Alchinate, which is just 2 kilometers south of our La Gloria project. In addition, from the capital markets side, we've got Alex Langer and Jorge, who are both involved in the founding of Prime Mining, which has done very well. Pierre Lassander's got involved in Prime, and the market cap is around 400 million Canadian now. And actually, we were interested in trying to get the Las Vegas asset many years ago, and we're kind of looking for something similar. And you'll see our La Gloria property, we've got 11 satellite targets, all with gold at surface, and then hopefully we can start to understand the system a little bit better. Las Vegas started off as 8 satellite deposits, and then they've started to show, it's one big system. Here's our 4 properties. La Gloria is the core focus of the company for now. It's the only project we're working on, and to be honest, the more work we do, the more excited we get about the property. But we'll assess later in the year whether we start to allocate some capital elsewhere. El Durazno is also a big land package, similar size to La Gloria, 24,000 hectares. This is really district scale exploration. Big land packages. El Durazno, right in the heart of the Sierra Madre Gold and Silver Belt, great location right by the Mulatos and La India mines. And then finally, 2 properties around 4,000 hectares, both put together by Peter and his team, with some good prospects already identified. So this is the Mojave-Sonora Megashear. La Gloria, our core focus is on the Mojave-Sonora Megashear. You can see here on what the locals call the Caborca Gold Belt, which runs from Alchinate up through 3 operating Fresnillo mines. And the trend comes down from California into Sonora. Now about 35 million ounces of gold have been discovered on the trend. All heap leach deposits, fairly easily processing. And delighted to have locked up such a good land package in really a strategic location. As you'll see, zooming in, you can see we're right directly north above the city of Caborca. Caborca is a population of about 70,000. There's a lab in Caborca, ALS assay lab, which we're using for the assays, and lots of other mining labor and services. The team live in Caborca. We have a rental house in Caborca, and they commute up and down to the property every day. Alchinate is also plugged into the grid, so great we can easily extend across, get electricity to keep down A, cost with increasing oil prices, and B, also now with the increased interest in environmental ESG. A lot of projects in the middle of nowhere that require diesel generated power are quite a no-no to a lot of ESG focused investors. So that's also a big tick in our favor. Now, zooming into the property, we have these 2 regional fault lines mapped running parallel across the property. The yellow areas are target areas were identified with gold at surface. And we've started drilling in what we call the main zone here on the western part of the property. We've put 14 holes in here. And now we've moved actually directly north into El Sombrero. And we're going to drill additional 22 holes initially in this El Sombrero target area. Very excited actually about what we're discovering in El Sombrero. And this is what we put out today, the initial press release of initial sampling results, which we started doing at the beginning of the year in El Sombrero. I'll touch on that shortly, but very, very interested in what's developing in this part of property. These 2 targets in total about 2,000 hectares, 20 square kilometers, so substantial land package. And also done quite a bit of work sampling and mapping down here at the Quintus, and finding very similar styles of mineralization, quartz veining, horizontal, vertical veining in the Quintus, as we are in El Sombrero and in the southern part of the main zone. And then this area in between is all covered, as the geologists refer to. So it's just basically flat snow and desert sand, and good chance the mineralization is continuing under the cover. Here's the sampling we've done today. The sampling results we put out today were from Alhambra, and very interesting. The first time we're starting to get significant copper grades on the property, which is a first, and really delighted to be starting to get 0.5% copper at surface. It is great grade. In addition to that, also silver of some substance, 50-60 grams of silver, in addition to 8 grams of gold. So in addition to those 3 metals, we're also getting reasonable traces of lead and zinc. So the geological team are quite comfortable saying there's multiple phases of mineralization gone through this part of the property, at least 3 phases, we're comfortable to say. You can see multiple high-grade surface samples, up to 93 grams per ton from Pique Bajo in the southern part of the main zone. We've put a drill hole into that vein and hopefully get a nice drill intercept that we can release shortly. Moving on, this is the initial drilling. You can see here detailed the first 36 holes. The ones in red have been completed, and then the ones in gray are to be completed. And you can see started in the main zone, we drilled 3 holes in the northern part in what we call the big pit in what's a known hydrothermal pressure, trying to extend it both northeast and southwest. Then we've come down to try and get some extensions between this known part of the property. And then what we're finding in the southern part of the property, which is a lot of quartz veining and some other mineralized structures. So this really is exploration drilling. You can see the scale here we have on the side. We're looking initially over an area of about 3 kilometers in length. Really, a lot of targets we're finding, delighted with kind of the work at surface, and now want to start digging deeper under the surface, start to understand the system in a lot more detail. So the initial kind of goals were to extend the known mineralization, and then delighted really with what we're finding up here. And you can see really honing in. We're going to put an initial 14 drill holes into this area here. If I just jump onto the next slide, this is a zoomed in part of that part of the property. You can see we've got 3 major veins, horizontal veins, running at surface on the regional trend line, northwest, southeast. And you can see here where we're getting the initial samples. All the initial samples we've got back so far have just come from this Alhambra vein here. We're pending results from these 2 veins. Very interested to see what we get back here. But you can see, we're targeting a number of holes into these veins. The team's quite excited about what they're finding in this part of property, and definitely keen to hopefully get these results out to the market. I would say within the kind of a month and a half to 2 months is kind of turnaround we've experienced so far from the initial holes. Just before we're running out of time, so just to wrap up, this also is the mineral alteration work we've had done, and really kind of shows the extent of the targets we have on this property. Often you see someone with a 24,000 hectare property, but they're looking in one part. Here you can really see the mineral alteration associated with orogenic gold. We're finding it all over this property. So definitely we're doing a lot of field work up here in the northwestern part of the property. And potentially we could start to see trending all the way along this part of property is what we're kind of hoping for. And then this western part of property here is also very covered. This alteration is happening as like under the cover, and we want to start to have a better understanding here. The team has put together this based on the previous slide, which shows the kind of alteration corridors running between these fault lines. And one theory that we're testing now in field work is there's actually another regional fault line here, and then we've got congregated structures running between the 2. So yeah, lots of targets on the property. Delighted with the initial work. Very excited to be about to get our initial results, and then we should have a steady stream of results coming out over the summer from drilling. Continue with the mapping, sampling, and trenching work around. We've got 2 teams mapping, sampling, and trenching, and 1 team drilling for now, and we'll probably leave it like that for at least a few months, and then we'll assess later in the year. So just to summarize, the same kind of host rocks as the major deposits on the trend, mainly metasedimentary host rocks. We're finding veins, veinlets, and also we think gold hosted in the host rocks on the property, which is exactly what we want to be seeing. Great location, great infrastructure in place, and delighted with the exploration team we put together in the initial results. So that's the kind of overview, Kai. I don't know if we've got any time for Q&A or if.
Yeah, I do have a question. I do have one, Michael. I just went through your press release for the drilling update again, and it says drill results are due imminently. How do you define imminently?
Well, like I say, the plan is next week.
Okay.
After the Easter break. When I'm starting meetings in New York on the 20th, I want them out by then so I can talk about them openly. Is the plan.
Fantastic. And maybe last question, drill budget for the year.
So initially the board has approved 10,000 meters, which is $1.8 million US. We're in a position we still have got about 10 million cash Canadian. So we could easily, but the budget is actually set up for 20,000 meters of drilling. We have the capital to do that, but let's see how these initial results go. But we're in a fortunate position, we're well capitalized, and we can really expand on these targets we're finding.
I was going to say 1.8 is quite conservative with your cash balance there on the register. So fantastic. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Maybe stay on a little bit. We'll see if any more questions come in via the chat. And appreciate it. Can't wait to have you in North America again.